Your job in this second act is not to age gracefully. It's actually to redefine and shift and create a new identity that brings you joy and vibrancy. It's not about slowing down, it's about intentional, living with intention and designing that path forward. Hi, I'm Julianne Price with Life Edit and Design, and today we're talking about bringing some kind of new intention into your life and really having that focus on joy. So let's talk about the way some people think about retirement and maybe the way it's been preached to you, that retirement is this time for you to take the big trip, the trip of a lifetime, this massive undertaking. Maybe it's to travel the world. There's actually a cruise, I think, where you can be on the cruise for a couple of years and it travels the world. That is, for some people, that's great. That is the form of retirement. But for most people, it's not this epic, mega accomplishment to go and do this epic trip. And even if you did do the epic trip, when it's over, you still have 30 years of wonderful retirement ahead of you. So it's not about that mega thing. And I think people move into retirement thinking they have to create this massive statement. And it's not. It's really about micro joys, enjoying life at a slower pace, but not slow. It means you get to be more relaxed in your pace, if that makes sense. Not a slowing down to that loss of momentum till you eventually stop. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about moving with a leisurely pace, but being more aware. Having those moments where you just stop and realize how amazing life is. So again, not the mega big trip, but the mini trip, the mini moments, the taking time just to do, say, like we do it right now, just do a 60-second audit of joy. What has made you smile so far today? What did you see? Did you take time to just look out the window and watch a bird fly by or a child play or a squirrel running around the yard? Or in my case, I could just watch my dogs sometimes, just the way they sleep sometimes is just so goofy. Do you take the moments to just relax, those micro moments of enjoying life? Because when you were working, it was all about hustle and moving fast and getting things done. And to just sit back and take it in and be aware of the present moment. Maybe that was always a goal, but not something you actually were able to do because life was just too busy. Now it's all about that. It's just really being thankful for this life that you get to live and for all the things that you did accomplish, but you're not done. There's plenty more to do. And so that's what we want to talk about today is just how do you make this pace different and enjoyable, but not epic? Just so much richness in the moments, the small moments, the quiet moments in between. And I want to offer you a new North Star that's more about making life rich in these little moments. Maybe it's rich in the connections you get to make now. Now that you have the time and you have the ability to choose who you're surrounded with. When you were working, you had your colleagues, you had maybe your suppliers or your customers. That was the network you had to work with. But now you get to be intentional and you get to choose to connect with people that bring you joy, people that inspire you, motivate you, or just people who get you. Isn't it just fun to have people that you can geek out with on a particular topic? And so I invite you to find connections, but also to find curiosities, to approach life now saying, I wonder. Before, if something you didn't understand something, maybe you just had to move on and say, that's one of those things I just don't understand and move on. Now you have the time to pause and say, I wonder how that works. I wonder why it works. I wonder who created that. I wonder the history behind that. So if you walk around your community, maybe now you get the chance to be a tourist in your own community. Have you ever actually gone to your own local museums? Maybe you did when you had kids and they were going on field trips, but now have you ever gone back as an adult? Go through the tourist list, the TripAdvisor, like for your area, and say, have I ever done these things? Have I ever gone on a ghost tour in my own community? Have I checked out all the local cafes or whatever it is, maybe local bookshops, independent bookshops in my community? Get to be curious about your world and make maybe the trips about little trips, about just really investigating the nooks and crannies in your own community. If you're a person of faith, have you gone to other churches or places of worship just to see how do they do things? My daughter and I went to Life Church, which was a big church in our area, just for some totally different experience. We aren't religious, but we were just curious, what are these big churches about? and to go in and see a rock concert being performed and as part of the worship, it was different for us. It's like, wow, that's really cool. So is it something we're going to do? No. But it was just a way for us to be curious and explore what's going on in our world. And now if that comes up in conversation, we can actually say, hey, we attended one of these and have something to share. So making your connections richer is also by having new experiences within your own community that you can share with other people, or maybe they will bring you new inspiration to say, oh, I haven't checked that out, I want to go see that. I have a trip coming up to a botanical garden. I'm not really interested in flowers and plants, but I think it'd be something just to be curious about and to say, yeah, I did that and I learned about it, and maybe it'll spark a new interest. Who knows? That's part of curiosity, is to find out, oh, I didn't know I would really enjoy this, but now that I've experienced it, I want to know more. I want to investigate more. I want to go see other botanical gardens. I don't know. Maybe I will. Or maybe I just had so much fun with that, with the people I went with, that I want to go on other experiences with them. So connections and curiosity go hand in hand and create these micro joy moments for you. So again, we're moving away from the idea of a big epic trip and moving into more of this richness, the small details, the little things that make life so much more interesting. And that curiosity can also move to learning all kinds of new things, learning new skills. Maybe like I've always wanted to do great calligraphy. Now I have the time. That's You didn't have the freedom before to pursue those things. Now you do. So what are just learn anything. And I have a little closet over here. We call it the clown closet. This is full of just different craft projects I've tried. Maybe they stuck, maybe they didn't. Most of them didn't, but at least I tried them, and then I can always donate supplies, or I can revisit it again, maybe in the winter when things quiet down again and I don't want to be out and about. Maybe it's time to go back and revisit some of those things. For me, one of the biggest challenges I have is when I'm approaching a hobby is what's the use of it? If I created something, like I tried quilling, and so I created something and I was like, well, what do I do with it now? I just throw it out because I don't want more stuff in my house. And that's one part of learning that I really struggle with, is when I'm learning a new hobby, is what's the outcome for it? Can I at least make a quilling project that I can use as a card? But then I know somebody's going to throw out that card. So you see that the push and pull, you have to solve these things for yourself. And I don't have all the answers, telling you that I'm still trying to figure that out too, is as I make a hobby project. Like I like coloring because there's no expectation that colored page is going to have any life beyond me coloring it. It's just for fun. Turn the page, and when the book is done, I don't need to save it, but I could save it for a short term just to see my progress, see how I got better. And I offer that to you as when you're stuck on learning a new skill, is maybe you're just tracking the progress. Maybe the reward for you is just to see your skill improve. So if it's something like quilling, I can say I started out with this really simple project, and yeah, I took a picture of it and I tossed it. I recycled it, but maybe the next project will be a little more intricate and more complicated. So eventually, till I get to a point where I can actually create a work of art that maybe I want to donate to my library to raffle off. Like maybe there is an outcome down the road, but that's something that you have to work out for yourself. These micro moments of joy is, do I just enjoy the process, or does there have to be an outlet for the process in the end? And maybe there's many, many steps along the way, many creations along the way before you actually create maybe a blanket. Or I've seen these knitted stuffed animals that are just so adorable. Maybe you create, eventually you're building your skill to the point where you can create that to donate to a children's hospital. Who knows? You have to decide what that is for you. But do you see how that's so much smaller and so much more, I don't want to say manageable, but present? It's just, it allows you to enjoy the process, that there's maybe an outcome down the road, but you get to enjoy all these micro moments in between. And to create, one of the other suggestions I have for you is to create a routine where you're constantly tuning into where are these micro joy moments. So maybe you have a habit stack in the morning that you've done an energy audit, and you say, these are the things that I know bring me joy, and you stack a few of them together. Maybe for some people it's just doing a crossword puzzle, just having the time to have some jazz music, having a nice cup of tea, and doing a crossword puzzle. So that's a habit stack that they can put together. And then you can do a weekly audit, a weekly joy audit, and look back at your life and say, or back at the week and say, how much joy was there? Could I have had more joy? Was there moments of joy that I missed? Opportunities I could have slowed down, changed my plans so that I could have enjoyed that more? Sometimes for me, just going on a road trip just brings so much joy. So I can look at my weekly schedule and say, is there somewhere where I can put it in? And then is there somewhere in my community where I can be a tourist in my own community and just get out there and enjoy it and just do something for the fun of it, for no purpose other than the joy factor. And you really want to have that in your schedule. So again, I always recommend, even in retirement, still have a planner because you still want to track your schedule. You still want to say, do I have these joy moments baked in? And again, they don't have to be epic. The smaller, the better. And you also might want to consider writing a joy manifesto, like taking all those things that bring you energy and bring you joy and putting it into a document that says my life is joyful. Because if you ever want to look for a great one, Magnolia Journal has a manifesto in the back, and some of the things are like cartwheeling through my day, like just the use of the language is joyful and upbeat, and being aware of new people, bringing those social connections in. Did you joyfully curate a new connection this week? That's something cool that you can track in your journal and track in your planners, however you want to do it. But it's so beautiful. And that's one of the things I help people do. We do the energy audit because I say in this second act, energy is your currency. So you want those joyful moments to bring you energy, to raise you up. It's no longer about money, it's about joy. How much joy is in your life? And again, not about these epic trips. It's about these micro, small instances that you can have all day long. And you can just sit, again, having those 60 seconds of reflection of just doing what made me smile today. Did you really enjoy your beverage? Did you have a pretty mug to drink out of? The sun today was this gorgeous shade of orange. Wow, it was just so cool. There's a joyful moment. But if you don't take the time to pause and process and be aware that moment happened, you'll miss it. And we have the responsibility. If you're somebody like me, I'm a ruler, I love responsibility. We have a responsibility now to enjoy these smaller moments, to be present to them, to not rush through life. We rushed through that first act. There was a lot going on. The second act is a bit about the richness of these small moments. So I hope I've inspired you. There's a quiz down below if you want to take it to really find out what lights you up and what your archetype is. Because once you know your archetype, that gives you so many clues as to what brings you even more joy in this next act and how you can really amp it up and have a beautiful life. There's so much joy to be had here, now. You don't need to feel anxious. If you're finding anxiety from the shift, the identity shift that you're taking, just being a joy person, a person who hunts down joy, a joy explorer, that could be our term. That is a great new identity. I'm a person who goes through life looking for all of the mini joys, all those moments. I don't know if you saw the movie, the tiny map of perfect moments or something like that. I don't remember. It was a teen movie, but it was so great. It was about finding all those joyful moments in a given day and mapping them out. Here was this perfect tiny moment, and here was this perfect tiny moment. You get to do that in real life. This isn't a movie. This is what you get to live now. How cool is that? So I hope that this inspired you. Take a few moments even before this video is over and just pause and reflect on those 60 seconds of joy in your life. I'll see you next time. Bye now. After retirement,